In today's video, I am going to be breaking down the Dallas Mavericks basketball strategy in this year's NBA playoffs, specifically against the LA Clippers. They are currently absolutely destroying the Clippers. The Clippers have no answer for a couple of their players, specifically Luka Doncic. So let's get down and let's check out why the Dallas Mavericks are doing so well, but also why Luka Doncic is basically unstoppable. Okay, so in this first play, we have Luka Doncic who's able to get his teammate an open three-point shot, mainly because we have a brush screen, slightly a brush screen, for Luka Doncic. Zubac is then trying to hedge way too far. So if you are a center, you can hedge, but don't hedge this far away from your main player that you're defending without calling a switch. The reason for this is because now, if that player passes back to the player who was screening, the player who didn't roll towards the basket but instead screened and popped out, what's going to happen is if he's an okay or good three-point shooter, it's allowing him to have a wide open three. And we don't just see this against Luka Doncic. We see this with multiple different players. Zubac is not a great screen and roll or screen and pop defender. He even is calling switch right here. This player should be going over here, but he's not. And Hardaway Jr. is a very good shooter, and Zubac is giving him enough room right now to give him the shot. The reason why Hardaway is able to get that shot off, this player here should have stayed. Zubac should have gone back. This was a very simple play to defend, and Zubac was unable to defend it. And the reason why that's an easy shot is because he has to give Hardaway distance, because Hardaway is a very fast player and could have drove towards the basket super easily if Zubac was closer. And that's why Hardaway is able to drain that shot. Now, so many people and analysts are saying, wow, the Dallas Mavericks, they can hit so many threes. Why couldn't they do this in the season? It's because they are getting wide open shots because of how the Clippers are currently defending them. They are getting wide open shots, and anybody at the NBA level, unless your name is Shaq, can hit threes when they're wide open. Now, while Ibaka is a very good defender, he is not fast enough to stick with Luka Doncic. I understand the strategy here. Try to stick somebody taller on Luka because Luka tends to then attack the basket. And if you stick a tall, fast defender on him, you should be able to stop those step-back mid-range shots. However, what they are missing is the fact that Luka creates contact with his shoulder to push that defender back, and even though that is technically an offensive foul, it's not an offensive foul because when he's doing this, he is doing it over top of his foot, which means that that is his ground, and that is not a foul. So, he's able to push that defender back by creating space on his own ground, and then he's able to step back, keeping that knee up, which creates space, but also able to release super high, but also that leg kick is very good because it allows his right side to get in line with the basketball net. And we can see this screen once again. Very simple screen and roll 5-out play. This is not a hard play to defend, but Zubac switches. Zubac is not a very fast player, and many good players who are fast can get by him. You don't need to be an all-star. If I was skinny, I could probably get past Zubac. And then you have Porzingis. Let's not forget about him. He is a unicorn. He is a 7-footer who can jack threes, who can handle the ball. Here we have a very interestingly good player. So, of course, Zubac is the one who is going to be defending him. We have this player defending him, but this player goes and sets a screen for Zubac as well as his own man. He is able to do this by setting up a screen in between those two players. They have to go around him. Meanwhile, they are able to pass to Porzingis at deep, ridiculously deep range. And because it's a wide open shot, it's not going to take much for him to drain it. Now, this is an interesting play. They get the screen, but the player was able to fight through without switching, which is good. Luka Doncic is able to then size him up with that through-the-leg crossover, and then he's able to hesitate in the air, which then puts it as a two-step. He's allowed to go two steps. Watch. Cross through the legs, hesitation. On the hesitation, pushes off from the right foot, which allows him to take 2 steps, 1, 2, and because of that, he's able to get up for a shot. Meanwhile, this guy's hands, that defender's hands are down. Literally, hands down. Watch, look, this is not good. Palms are facing down. What does that mean? Well, if he was to drive, there is no way of being able to stop Luka Doncic. You could swipe, but it's going to be a foul. Meanwhile, your hands are legitimately down, which means that Luka Doncic, and you're on your heels, Luka Doncic is going to be able to easily set that shot over. You don't even get your hand higher than his elbow. This is an easy shot. That is an uncontested shot. And when you defend like that, you are going to be getting burned by the 3-point shot every single time. It seems like the Dallas Mavericks just like to set 5-out screens for Luka Doncic and their other guards like Hardaway. Because as we can see here, it's not that hard to defend, but when other teams are really not defending it the way they should, you just keep on running it and see if it keeps on working. It's almost like if the Clippers just think that they can do the same thing over and over again, and it might eventually work. It's like me posting basketball plays 10 years ago. Just post the same play over and over again and see if it works, but it doesn't. So here we have another screen, right? Kawhi Leonard is going underneath the screen. Not a great decision. You never want to go underneath the screen on Luka Doncic. You want to go over top, and Luka Doncic is able to make them pay by hitting a deeper than deep 3-point shot. And here we go once again. We have Dwight Powell setting a screen for another player, and watch how this is played. They switch. It seems like the LA Clippers just keep on switching. And this is not going to be something that is very hard to defend, yet they keep on switching on screens. This is almost like watching a grade 7 or 8 basketball team who really has never came up against a screen before defending the screen. They call switch. And then we have Zubac, who is sitting in the key against a player who can legitimately shoot a 3-point shot, and especially when it's wide open. This is not a basketball strategy. This is literally not a basketball strategy that you could run legitimately with most basketball teams. What you're doing is essentially setting up Porzingis with isolations and 3-point shots. You're setting up Luka Doncic again with isolations and 3-point shots. Pretty much any guard that gets onto the court, set a screen, they're going to switch. If you're playing against a team that's going to switch like this, you could literally have a 5-out offense. Go check out my 5-out complete guide down in the description below. But you could literally set up a 5-out offense. Just set simple screens. Like, this is all we need to do. They're going to either go underneath our screen or they're going to switch off. We're going to have wide open 3-point shots. Let's find our best 3-point shooters and set this up. This is an easy strategy. This is nothing that can be played up against somebody like maybe the Utah Jazz. They're going to have to find a legitimate strategy to play up against a team like that. This is a ridiculously bad defense that they're playing up against, even though this is a very good defensive team. Somehow they have just not figured out how to defend a screen and roll with somebody as good as Luka Doncic or even Porzingis or even Tim Hardaway Jr. So overall, the Clippers have to fix those things before they start winning. I hope that this video's not made you mad. Anyways, I hope that you've enjoyed. Hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys again next time.